What's up everyone, MeJP2 here, and in today's video, we have two Pokemon that got buffed this season. Well, technically it's three, but I'm mainly focusing on two of them, which is Shadow Dragonair with access to Wrap, which it already had, but Wrap got buffed, and then Metang that gained access to Fury Cutter. Now, Shadow Dragonair, it had Wrap, but Wrap was a useless move, because Shadow Dragonair also had Body Slam, and Body Slam before Body Slam got nerfed was the exact same move as Wrap, just 10 energy cheaper, so there was absolutely no reason to use Wrap. Now, Body Slam has been nerfed, and Wrap has been buffed to the Guaranteed Defense debuff, which makes it actually pretty good. And that defense debuff, paired with the one-turn fast move of Dragon Breath, allows you to ramp up Dragon Breath damage quite a bit. Now, the other Pokemon that I'm going to be focusing on here is Metang, because Metang was given access to Fury Cutter, and also Fury Cutter was buffed this season. But with the insane pacing of Fury Cutter, it's able to reach Psyshock in 10 Fury Cutters, which allows it to spam out Psyshocks, which is very good. Now, without further ado, let's get to the battles. So into the first battle, and we lead Shadow Dragonair into Primeape. This is a alright lead. We have a lot of fast move pressure. The opponent sends out Jumpluff. I probably should not have sent out Scizor here, I'm going to be completely honest. I really should have just sent out Metang here, because Metang's a full wall, and Scizor can get clapped by Acrobatics. I do call an Aerial Ace bait, though, which is nice, but they're going to make it to another one before I make it to another Night Slash, so I will have to give up a shield if I want to keep Switch. I do want to keep Switch because I want fast move pressure into the Primeape, and Fury Cutter cannot do that, so I want to make sure Dragonair stays aligned. Opponent, they commit a shield, and I get a boost, so I'm actually going to shield again. Now, the opponent sends back out Primeape, and these bullet punches are tearing Primeape to pieces. Look at this. I'm going to go for a Trailblaze. They're obviously going to shield it, but look at that one bullet punch. That bullet punch did so much of their health. I'm going to make a Peekaboo play trying to catch a close combat. I actually end up catching an Ice Punch, though, which is actually a lot better. Now, I will lose CMP here. This should be a Rage Fist, and Rage Fist will get me into pretty close to the red, but I'll be fine with this Psyshock taking out the Primeape, and we'll see what they have in the back. In the back, they have Toxapex, and this is perfect. I just have to be wary of a catch, because if they make a catch on the Jumpluff, I could lose. And also, I think Brine will take me out before I make it to another Psyshock, so we're just going to actually catch the Brine, because why not? And now this game should just basically be winning. Even if they send out Jumpluff and they do get a catch, Metang has enough energy where we could probably make it to a Psyshock. They fail the catch as well, which, that's fine too. We're going to be able to go for a Wrap. Wrap will take him out, and we are able to take that game. Into the next battle, and we lead Dragonair into Blastoise. Now, Blastoise, I'm a huge fan of Blastoise. It's a very fun Pokemon. I want to build one sometime, and I'm going to just go for the Wrap as soon as I get to it. This does also happen to be on alignment, which is a misplay on my end, and as a result, they are at a Skull Bash here. I'll shield the Skull Bash, and then they send out Talonflame. I obviously don't have an answer to this in the back, so I will just have to stay in with Dragonair, but thankfully the fast move pressure applied by Dragonair should be able to just fully take them out. Unless they get damage registration error. Subtle foreshadowing. But so then, yeah, they get damage registration error, which kind of annoying. That Dragon Breath should have KO'd there, but Metang's able to get 2 Fury Cutters of just pure advantage, because we're literally just 8 energy up and full health. So, okay. Now we're going to go for a Psyshock into this Sirfetch'd. I'm going to send out Scizor, because they have to throw a big move here to take me out. They Brave Bird me. That is Scizor completely sacrificed, but that's fine. Metang, I think, will clean this up. We're going to go for Psyshock. Psyshock takes out Sirfetch'd, and yeah, Blastoise, just too low. We're able to Fury Cutter him down. Even if they made a Hydro, it wouldn't KO, so we take that game. We see Quagsire on the lead in the next battle. Now, this is a pretty good lead because it's a non-Shadow Quag, so we live any one move here. Even a Stone Edge wouldn't KO, but I don't think they built up to that there. Now, I'll be able to go for a Wrap. Wrap will do a good amount of damage, and yeah, it almost takes him out, and we're able to farm down. Now, the opponent, they send out Clefable. I'm going to just immediately pivot into Metang because I have 2 better responses. So I'm going to go for a Psyshock into this Clefable. Clefable is able to tank a Psyshock, and the opponent has Toxapex in the back, so they're kind of just core broken by Metang at this point. Honestly, they're also kind of core broken by any Steel type, so keep that in mind, but they're going to go for Brine. Brine is an abysmal move from a not very attack-weighted Pokemon, so it does not do that much. Now, we're going to be able to go for a Psyshock. Psyshock will get their final shield, actually. And now, they can go for another Brine, but that's fine. It's not going to take me out, and they still never farm me down. I was trying to be wary of a potential catch on a Clefable. Even if they catch that, Side Shock KOs, and that's fine. But now I'll be able to go for another Side Shock. This will take out the Toxapex. You can see just how spammy Metang is with Fury Cutter. Opponent is going to go for a move here, because I don't even think they get the farm down if they don't. This will be a Dazzling Gleam. And now I just kind of want to get a 2-shield flex. So I'm going to actually no-shield here. Every single move they have is resisted, I think. And yeah, we're just able to 2-shield flex, farm them down, and we take that game. We see Granbull on the lead the next battle. Pretty abysmal lead. I'm going to immediately safe switch Metang. And the opponent responds with a very bad response, which is Tentacruel. First of all, they're also on Poison Jab instead of Acid. I'm pretty sure Acid is just straight up better, because it's a Shadow Claw clone, but the opponent apparently hasn't realized that, and they're still on Poison Jab. Now, they're going to go for a move. It's a Scald. Okay. The opponent, I want to fight for a switch here, just because Dragonair will get shredded by Charm, but I also have realized that once they've given up 2 shields, if they don't have an Incinerate user in the back, Scizor just fully wins on the spot. So I'm just going to send out Scizor, get extra energy. The opponent sends out Granbull. Not the smartest decision in my opinion. And they send back out Tentacruel. I'm just going to Night Slash them. Why not? Night Slash takes him out, and in the back they have Flygon. So yeah, this is still pretty low elo. Well, it's low rank. It's the start of the season. So there are some questionable team comps. They're going to make a move here. It's a Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw, yeah, it does a decent amount of damage, but we're able to farm down, and we take that game. You see Greninja on the lead in the next battle. Now, this is a pretty good lead, because we live a Night Slash, and after they throw it, they're going to be 2 Water Shurikens off, so we'll make it to their wrap 1 turn before they make it to their second Night Slash, or they can Hydro Cannon me. That works too. They then send out Slowking, and honestly, I probably should have sent out Scizor here, but I just saw Poison type and was like, oh, Metang, not realizing that it's also a Psychic type, and that this one has access to Hex and Shadow Ball. So, kind of a misplay on my end. Hopefully I can still play out of it, but we'll see. Now, I'll be able to go for a Psyshock. Psyshock does some nice damage. And if this is a Shadow Ball, Metang gets taken out. I'm not willing to shield again, though. They Shadow Ball me, and now send out Dragonair. Opponent pivots back out into Greninja. I'm just going to go for the Wrap. Wrap's going to get the shield, and now the Dragon Breaths are going to start shredding this Greninja. At this point, I'm like, okay, I'll just send out Scizor, get 2 bullet punches. That Slowking's really low, and in the back they have Venusaur. So this game's just immediately over, because Venusaur is fully walled by Scizor, just because everything they have is double resisted. I'm going to no-shield here, that's how confident I am. Frenzy Plant hits really hard for being double resisted, if I'm being honest, but it doesn't KO. The opponent realizes that, and they concede the match. We see Shadow Gardevoir lead the next battle. Pretty bad lead, just going to immediately send out Metang. Hopefully this Charmer has a better response, and they send out more Morpeko. Now, this is honestly fine. Fury Cutter. You can see Fury Cutter's ripping Morpeko apart. I decide that I'm not going to fight for Switch, though. I'm just going to try and get shields, and then end with an energy advantage. So I actually pull a shield with the first Psyshock. I don't know why the opponent shielded that. I think Morpeko does wall everything Metang has, but opponent apparently doesn't realize that. I do decide that I'm just going to try and sweep with Scizor, so I'm going to let that Aura Wheel go. Dragonair gets obliterated, but I'm fine with that. Opponent sends out Gardevoir. They get some nice charm damage, but in the back they have Greninja. And Greninja doesn't have much fast move pressure, and I have shields, so game's pretty much over on the spot. They have a move here. I'm obviously going to shield it, so yep, Night Slash. Doesn't get a boost, and now I'll be able to go for a Trailblaze. Trailblaze will take out the Greninja, and we are able to take that game. Into the next battle, and we lead Dragonair into Mandibuzz. My backline doesn't really like seeing Mandibuzz that much, well, especially Metang. Scizor, I guess, is fine with it, but it gets outbulked by a bit. And so the opponent, they're going to foul play me and then send out Entei. This is really bad, actually, just because of the fact that Entei is going to probably double shield, especially once they see Aqua Tail. At this point, I'm not making 2 Aqua Tails, I don't think, so I will go for the Wrap for the defense debuff. I actually might have been able to make it to an Aqua Tail. I think it would have come down to a damage registration error. We get 1 turn there, because this is a very well put together game, and now they get a Fire Spin off on us because of that. They're going to send out Mandibuzz, obviously. Metang is actually decently bulky, and so it'll tank the foul play pretty well. I'll be able to go for a Gyro Ball, and I'm just going to see if Scizor can sweep here. Gyro Ball does pretty good amount of damage, and now they're going to go for a move. Let's see what it is. It's Foul Play, takes me out, and now we'll see what Scizor can do. They don't make a move, so now they've just given Scizor a ton of energy. And I just have Trailblaze here. Trailblaze, it's going to boost up Bullet Punch, and as you can see, Trailblaze rocks the Azumarill, and these Bullet Punches are chunking it. Now we're going to be able to go for a Night Slash. Night Slash will take out the Azu, and we are able to take that game. We see Aerodos on the lead in the next battle. This is a pretty okay lead. We're able to hit for pretty big damage with Dragon Breath, and I'm actually going to catch the Lunge. Lunge will be resisted onto Scizor. Honestly, it still looks almost neutral with how much damage it does, but we're going to be able to go for a Night Slash into this Charge Bug that they sent out. Now, if they want to go for a full farm down, they can, but I'll be able to make it to another Night Slash. Now, Night Slash will be able to get them pretty low, so they're probably going to shield here, and they do. I'm going to send out Dragonair again, 3 Dragon Breaths, and I make it to an Aqua Tail. That was CMP, though. That shows that I did get one turn bring in, which, of course, that happens. But now they're going to go for an X-Scissor, and now they're going to go for another one. X-Scissor won't take me out, and, okay, they can discharge me, that's fine too. And they send out Greninja. I am much happier seeing Greninja here than on the Metang, because while Metang can hit for super effective with Fury Cutter, Dragonair is going to do a lot of damage with Dragon Breath, and we're going to make it to a wrap. Wrap will be able to wrap up the Greninja, and we're going to be able to wrap up this game with Metang. We're going to be able to tank the Lunge. Lunge will not take me out, it'll not even get me into the yellow. I'll make it to a Psyshock. Psyshock will take out the Aerodos, and we will be able to take this game after we make it to one more Psyshock into this Charge Bug. Charge Bug, even though this Psyshock is debuffed, Charge Bug's just too low on HP, Psyshock takes him out, and we are able to take that game. Into the next battle, and we see Scizor on the lead. This is pretty bad, because Dragon Breath hits for resisted, but it's also Shadow Dragonair, so Dragon Breath is still able to do a decent amount of damage. Night Slash won't KO here, it'll do a lot, and then I'm going to send out my own Scizor. They, of course, get the boost because, yeah, and my terrible Scizor IV is actually come in handy here as I win CMP. Opponent's obviously going to shield because they got the boost, but they're at a nice health disadvantage, so they're going to get farmed down if they stay in. Now, they send out Lapras, and you can see these Bullet Punches are shredding. Psywave's not doing that much, so we're going to be able to make it a double Night Slashes here. They're probably going to no-shield this, and so yeah, Night Slash doesn't KO, though. I'm going to have to go for another one, because I don't know if they're going to be able to make it to a Sparkling Aria there. They then send out Nidoking, and that's not very good for me. I'm going to send in Metang, go for a Psyshock, because this will grab the shield, and I don't want to tank an Earth Power, so following the Psyshock, we're just going to snipe with an Aqua Tail. Nidoking, pretty glassy, doesn't even need to be in the Shadow form for this to KO. And now they can send back out their Scizor, but they can make it to a Night Slash, and Metang's too bulky. Even if I were a Shadow Metang and this were a Shadow Scizor, I don't think Night Slash would KO. It would deal a lot more damage, don't get me wrong, but I think Metang would barely live it. Into the next battle, and we see Gigalith on the lead the next battle. This is an interesting lead. They're going to be able to make it to a Superpower around 4. That's the only move they could have here. I don't think they have enough. I don't think they have any other moves that are cheaper than Superpower. They're going to then send in Stunfisk. I'm just going to Aqua Tail him. Aqua Tail, they'll deal some alright damage, and I don't really have a good response to Stunfisk in the back, so I actually do decide to double shield here. I'm going to farm up as much as possible, and then try and catch the Mud Bomb onto Scizor. Scizor will take some pretty big damage, but we will be able to just get the farm down. Now, being at a 2-shield disadvantage is not ideal, but the opponent gives us a nice energy advantage when they send out their Gigalith. Gigalith gets torn apart by Bullet Punch, and they send out Golbat. Golbat gets a farm down, but they have to give up a shield in the process, and at this point, I'm going to send out Metang. If they're on Shadow Ball, they should get it on 8, and this would be a Shadow Ball if they had it, which, as you can see, they don't, as they go for Air Cutter. So I think they're Poison Fang and Air Cutter then. Psyshock gets a shield, and I'm just going to let this move. I'm going to let them make it to this move. I probably could have sent out Dragonair to force them to throw, but I'm not. They go for the Air Cutter. They get the attack boost, but that really doesn't matter. We're going to be able to go for Psyshock. Psyshock will take out Golbat, and we are able to take that game. Into the next battle, and we see Bastion on the lead. Now, Shadow Dragonair, with its access to the Shadow bonus, actually is able to do 2 damage per Dragon Breath instead of 1, which actually allows it to beat Bastion, especially with the super effective Aqua Tail damage, but you do have to go down a shield first, And the opponent, even if they commit a shield, they're still going to be losing switch. So, yeah. Opponent sends out a Azumarill, though, and I will be able to make it to a Trailblaze plus a Night Slash here, based on how much health I have. And after the damage this Ice Beam does, yeah, I'll be able to live enough bubbles to make it to an Ice Beam, not an Ice Beam, sorry, a Trailblaze and an Ice Slash. And so I'm going to go for the Night Slash first, because if I go for the Trailblaze first, the opponent's going to know the next one's a Night Slash. But if they shield the first one, it's a Night Slash. They're not going to know if the second one's a Trailblaze. So yeah, we're able to take Switch because of that. If I had Trailblaze first, I would never have been able to take Switch. I throw 5 Dragon Breaths there, but they still get to move through because I got 1 turn. Very well put together game. But now I'm going to be able to go for an Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail will be able to take out the Bastion, and now let's see what they have in the back. In the back they have Rufflet, and Rufflet is unfortunately for the Rufflet, just fully walled here. I can go for a Psyshock. Psyshock will be able to deal some nice damage, and even if this is a Brave Bird, which it probably is, it's not going to take me out. Doesn't even get me into the red. Opponent realizes that, and they concede the match. In the next battle, we see Corviknight on the lead. Now, Corviknight is an interesting Pokemon for this, just because they're going to be able to make it to a move right at, I think, 14 is when they reach Sky Attack, so I will be catching it. And now the opponent is going to send out Feraligatr. This is, on paper, should be pretty good for Feraligatr having Shadow Claw, but Hydro Cannon doesn't take me out, so I'll be able to make it to a Psyshock. They'll be able to farm me down, but thankfully, I have enough energy on my Dragonair to where I can throw 3 Dragon Breaths and make it to another, sorry, not another, just to an Aqua Tail, and Aqua Tail will be able to take out the Feraligatr, so they will shield. It's an interesting shielding call on my opponent's end, but I'm going to shield the Hydro Cannon back, and now they sent back out Corviknight. I'm fine with this, though. I'm going to go for an Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail will deal some respectable damage, and it should get them into farm down range, because they're not going to be able to make it to 2 moves here. So I'm going to be able to shield the Sky Attack, and I'll be able to get a full farm down, and now let's see what they do. Opponent sends back out Feraligatr. Feraligatr not going to get to a move, and they're going to send out more Pekka. I'm going to go for their Wrap, because they're obviously going to shield the first, and after that Wrap, the Aqua Tail is going to do more damage with that defense debuff. So look at this. Aqua Tail does a ton of damage, and I'm just going to send out Scizor. Scizor farms him down, and we are able to take that game. Overall, I really, really like these buffs. Shadow Dragonair having access to Wrap is just something very good, because in some situations where Dragon Breath only does 2 damage, you could debuff their defense now and have Dragon Breath potentially do 3, which is just 50% more damage, and that is a lot of fun. Now, I also really like the change to Metang, giving it Fury Cutter, just because of the fact that I really didn't have that many fairy counters on my Great League roster of Pokemon built, so having Metang, which is a pretty good Steel type, is just very fun. And also, Scizor, while Scizor wasn't really the focus of this video, it is also a very strong Pokemon that I expect to see in probably official events just because of the sheer fast move pressure that it packs, along with the spamminess of Bullet Punch plus Night Slash. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.